everyone, and welcome to this new episode entitled Users of Accounting Information. Just a quick recap during the last episode, we discussed the definitions of accounting, and I hope you learned from it and by now you were able to define what accounting is. So, as we all know, when we are dealing with accounting, this is a process because we generate financial reports or we generate informations that are needed by the users of accounting or the users of accounting information in order for them to decide on what courses of action that they would take. And of course, this accounting information are process documents, process transactions, quantitative information, financial in nature. So meaning to say, we are recording, we are processing, we are measuring economic transactions. Now, of course, since our topic for today is all about the users of accounting information, I'd like to introduce to you two categories. And the two categories are the primary users and the other users. By primary users, we call this in Philippines, in Tagalog, mga pangunahing gumagamit. Okay? Mga pangunahing gumagamit. And by the primary users, we talk about existing and potential investors and existing and potential lenders or creditors. Take note the terms existing and potential because when we are dealing with existing investors or existing lenders or creditors, these are your current business partners. Whereas when we are talking of potential investors and potential lenders or creditors, these are your prospects, prospective. They have the potential to be your business partners sometime in the future if they get the right accounting information from you. So, when we are dealing with investors, they needed the accounting information to help them decide whether to buy, hold, or sell their investments. So that is the question. Whereas, when we are dealing with lenders and creditors, they needed this accounting information to help them determine when the loans or the interest and other amounts that is being owed by the company to them will be paid. Because when we are talking of lenders or creditors, these are your providers of finances, providers of money or capital. They may be your banks or banking institution, financing institution, or lending companies. So, those are your primary users. Now, when we are talking of other users, this may be your employees, customers, government agencies, and the public. On the side of the employees, they needed accounting information to help them assess or determine the ability of the company to provide remuneration, benefits, and work opportunities. And by remuneration, we are talking of your salary, of the compensation of the employee. Okay? So, employees are concerned when the company is especially going down or when the company is not doing well. Let's say for a few years now, they are incurring losses. Well, let's take, for instance, the current situation. We have a pandemic because of the COVID 2019. So, there are uncertainty in the industry. So, employees should be concerned whether they will have a continued work with that company that employed them. So that is very relevant to them. This is very important, the accounting information. Now for the customers, they needed the accounting information to help them assess the continuance of an entity, especially if they have a continuing relationship with them. They have an interest with the company. Let's take, for instance, I am an iPhone holder. So I have an Apple product. And if I am very close with the business in terms of the updates and other news related to the company, I should be aware whether there are new releases of that product, let's say new phones or new gadgets that may be coming in the market. So I should be interested with the accounting information. Okay, now let's proceed with the government agencies. The government agencies are the ones who regulate the business activities. Take, for instance, BIR or the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. So they regulate the business activities of these companies and determine tax policies. So they needed this accounting information to ensure that they are following the rules and regulations that are being implemented. For the last one, we have the public, and the public needed this accounting information to assess the contribution of that company in terms of the local economy. So, as we all know, with this pandemic that has been happening over a few months now already, there are many companies or there are many organizations that help in the aid in fighting this pandemic, this virus. So, this public is given the opportunity to learn if that companies are contributing to the economy by providing some assistance or aid in their community. So these are your other users. Now, we can also categorize or we can also group the users of accounting information into two. And these are your external users and your internal users. By external users, these are the users with current or potential financial interest in the company, but they are not involved in the company's operations. So that's why the term external. So by now, you will also notice that by internal, these are internal people within the company's organization. So that these are those that can be associated within the company and involved in its operations. So for the external users, the common examples are your owners and shareholders, the investors, the creditors, the suppliers, the customers, the government agencies, and labor unions, association, and the public. Notice that they are external parties to the company. Oh, you may ask me, how about the owners and shareholders? Are they external or corporations, a type of organization, as we will be discussing later on? They are external parties. They own the company, but in terms of managing the business, they are not part of it. Okay? For internal users, the following are the examples: the board of directors, the management, other company officers. So the board of directors is the governing body. The management are the ones that implement the rules, the procedures, the policies of the company that are being mandated or directed by the board of directors. And we also have your other company officers, the supervisors, the team leaders, and the other officers. Okay? Now, for what purpose do they need the information? For the external users, it varies. It depends on who is the external user. And by external users, we provide them a general purpose financial statement because we cannot really provide them a specific financial statement based on the need of the external users because there are various external users. They may be a lot. Now, for internal users, they needed this information for planning and control decisions, like getting the company targets and the strategies of the business for the year or for a number of years. And they need the special purpose financial statements. Okay? Now, for external users, because they are using a general purpose financial statement intended for them as a whole. When dealing with the subject accounting, we are talking of financial accounting here. Whereas for the internal users, because it is a special purpose financial statement, a branch of accounting that covers it is the management of accounting. So, external financial accounting, whereas for internal management accounting. So, I hope by now you learned something from this. Please go back to these slides after this discussion. Anyway, it is already pre-recorded for you to be guided accordingly. Now, thank you for learning, for meeting me today through this video lecture, and I'll hope to see you around on the next episodes to come. Thank you and bye-bye.